You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
Another day and another win for the Atlanta Braves, who are on their longest winning streak of the 2022 season, and they are using that to climb well above 500 and start moving in the right direction. It certainly took long enough, but the wins are piling up for this club. A 13-2 final score as they blow out the Oakland Athletics. They sweep a quick two-game series, and we got a lot of good stuff to get to once again here on the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Make sure that you are subscribing here to the YouTube page. Make sure you leave us a rating, give us a share, tell a friend, do all that good stuff. But just make sure you're subscribed to get those notifications on. You'll get an alert every time we drop a new episode. And make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcasts. Well, we talked about this yesterday. If the Braves want to play a quick game under 3 hours and grab a win, it can look a variety of different ways, Jake. Tonight, they still did it in under 3 hours, and they scored 13 unanswered runs to thump the A's and win their 7th consecutive game. This was the Atlanta Braves we thought we might be seeing more of when the season started, right?
Yeah, this is taking care of business. Look, you get 2 games against one of the worst teams in the league. You got to take care of business, and you have to win those games, something the Braves weren't doing at the beginning of the year. They are starting to do now, and that is certainly a great sign.
Yeah, we'll call it the Bachman-Turner overdrive way of doing things. Taking care of business is exactly what the Braves were doing when it came to this game against the A's. So let's jump in here. It was game number 57 of the year, game 2 of 2 against Oakland. Very quick 2-game set, but a sweep nonetheless. Athletics have really been scuffling. They're in the midst of a long losing streak. Their second such long losing streak this season, now just 20-38. 2 runs, 8 hits, an error, 6 men left on base for the Athletics. For the Braves, they win their 30th game against 27 losses, 13 runs on 13 hits, 1 error, 3 men left on base. Ian Anderson picks up the win. He's now 5-3. Jared Keening's major league debut did not go according to plan for him. He takes the loss 0-1. No save in a game that lasted 2 hours and 47 minutes, and a sellout crowd of 42,075 were on hand to see it, and 40,000 of those folks left with a replica World Series ring. So an opportunity to celebrate, of course, the successes of last year, Jake, but I think everybody in the Braves dugout at this point has appreciated that for all that it is, but now they are thinking and much more focused on, I think, what is going on right now this year and every single day with this club. And it feels like that sense of urgency really picked up on the road trip when they kind of had that team meeting and were able to get themselves moving in the right direction. This, though, one of the best nights for the offense all season long.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about, getting refocused. Look, it took them 4 months last year, to really focus and get down. So if they're doing it at this point in this season, I feel really good about where this Braves team is going. But obviously the competition has something to do with that, but you still got to win these games. And I talked about it. They weren't doing that earlier in the year, and now they are. And again, it's great to see. And yeah, you mentioned the offense, all the runs piling up. I love that they didn't give up any at-bats as this game went on. They continued to battle and, never let their foot off the gas. I love to see that. And again, you said it earlier, they can win in a variety of ways. They win 3-2 on Tuesday with just 3 solo home runs. And then on Wednesday, they come back and put on a barrage. So I love what this offense can do. Obviously, I would love to see more nights like this, but my biggest takeaway is just you get games like this. You got a guy making his major league debut, a team that coming in has lost 7 in a row, one of the worst teams in the league. Mm-hmm. Again, I hate to keep saying it. You got to take care of business, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, hey, the message didn't need to change at all. It's a very simple message, and one I think the Braves have really been keyed in on again for the last week plus now, as they have won 7 consecutive games. You mentioned the Braves did hit 3 home runs in the opener against Oakland, but they were 3 solo home runs. On this night, it was 4 home runs for the Braves. Austin Riley is 15th. He remains absolutely red hot. Let's talk about what he's been doing. Last 16 games for Austin Riley, hitting .358 with 7 home runs, 16 runs knocked in. He's raised his batting average from .224 on May 22nd. And keep in mind, he was dropping down in the order because the Braves were searching for any kind of consistency in run production in the middle to top of the order. And Austin Riley was not a factor in that about 2.5 weeks ago. Things have changed very much. He's now batting .265, and he's on pace for 45 home runs this season. I would say that's a pretty good indication of the Austin Riley that we came to expect based on his breakout performance from a season ago. He was not alone, though. William Contreras, the man I like to call Wild Bill, 8th home run of the year for him. Ozzie Albies, a long-awaited home run, Jake. He broke a 40-game homerless drought, and Adam Duvall added his fourth and his second in the last 4 games. So some good things we were seeing late into that game. And as you mentioned, the Braves didn't just coast through the final few innings. They put a 7 spot on the A's in the 7th inning, and it was great to see all of the production and some of the welcome signs from some of the hitters that have been searching for this kind of production for the better part of a couple of months.
Yeah, you mentioned the Albies home run, that ball just sneaking out of there, but it counts. It's a home
Yep.
run, and he can put that streak behind him. Austin Riley, over 4 with 4 strikeouts last night, kind of got lost because the Braves won the game. Comes back tonight, he has a couple of hits, a big home run, 3 runs batted in. Great to see that. Like you said, he's been on fire recently. The lineup shuffle, and we mentioned it several times, I think it did a lot of good for this team. And you look at the record since they've done that in the offense in particular, not just for Riley, but Olsen as well, who's been swinging the bat good since that lineup change. Couple of hits tonight. And yes, William Contreras, not just a home run, threw out a batter tonight, double clutching the baseball and still throwing him out. So yeah, he continues to impress. We talked about it last night. I am now, convinced that he could be the future of the catcher for this team, which again, I could not have said a year ago. So, I mean, it's just amazing where he has come from, but up and down the lineup, every starter had a hit. Every starter scored a run. I mean, just a complete team effort up and down. And then I love Michael Harris, double and a triple. He was the one, I said everybody was staying locked in the offense through the end of the game. His last at bat, he was trying to get that first big league home run.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell, got a big lead. He took some big cuts there, ended up striking out, but go get it, kid. I don't blame him at all. I'd have been swinging for the fences too, trying to get my first one.
No, if you're up by 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 runs, go ahead. Take a big swing. I don't have a problem with that at all. Take a big swing on the house, as a matter of fact. But yeah, Harris with that 5th inning triple, the first of his big league career, that was the go-ahead hit. And the A's, if you might have missed this or tuned in late, they did have a brief lead in this game, but the Braves were able to put a number of crooked numbers on the board and to just win this one walking away with 13 unanswered runs. But Ian Anderson was able to work out of some trouble. It felt like one of those innings where it was getting a little bit wobbly. And if the A's were to have come through there with, say, a big hit of their own, a 2-run double, a 3-run homer, something like that, all of a sudden a 5 or 6-run lead looks a little bit different no matter who you're playing. But give Anderson some credit. He was able to dial in, get out of that, and the Braves offense went to work, and we weren't talking about what the A's offense was doing after the 2 runs that they scored. So that was kind of reminiscent of the way things went for the Athletics in the first of these 2 games. We'll talk a little bit more about Ian Anderson in just a moment, but I want to remind you to make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off a purchase of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement pieces. Use the code Locked On. That is code Locked On. Every order is insured, ships free, arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. You can shop stress-free and find your forever piece at BlueNile.com today. As far as gems are concerned, I would say Ian Anderson threw one of those today. 6 innings of 2-run ball, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. A run did score on his 1 wild pitch as well. At the very least, this was a solid outing from Ian Anderson, and good to see that there wasn't kind of a hangover effect from his outing at Coors Field. Not to say that it was the worst, but it was one of those that was kind of deceptively bad because he did get in a little bit of trouble there. And when pitchers come out of Coors Field sometimes, I feel like it hangs with them. It lingers for a start or two. Not the case for Ian Anderson, who came out throwing a lot of strikes in the first couple frames.
Yeah, the first 3 innings in particular, I thought were really good from Ian Anderson, just throwing strikes. Didn't have his first 3-ball count until the 4th inning, and that's obviously when he ran into some trouble. Gave up a couple hits there, double, and had the walk of Stephen Vogt, and ended up, I have the wild pitch too, aired by Acuna as well. That obviously didn't end up mattering much, but things got away from a little bit there in the 4th. Walked the leadoff batter in the 5th, got a double play to get out of that. So, first 3 innings, I thought he was great. Last 3 innings, just kind of, we're solid, not great, but overall a good outing for Ian. And like you said, coming off his last 3 starts, he had given up 13 combined runs. So you will certainly take 6 innings, 2 earned. And that's what we're used to seeing from Ian Anderson. We're used to seeing 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. That's what we've kind of been spoiled with him in his, early career here with the Braves. So we'd like to obviously see him get back to more of that. Again, I thought he threw the ball really well early on, pounding the strike zone like we talked about at the end of yesterday's postcast, doing kind of what Kyle Wright was, just throwing strikes. Obviously, he started walking some batters later in the outing and led to some runs there. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really solid outing for Ian Anderson.
Yeah, a step in the right direction for him, and you are right. I mean, in his young career, Ian Anderson, I think, has given the Braves way more good than bad. I know that there's a little bit of consternation with the fact that he does work into a lot of deep counts and does fall behind, and there's maybe a penchant of just staying maybe a little bit too heavy on the two pitches. Maybe a few more breaking balls would break that up a little bit, but that's something that he is, I feel like, able to at least make those adjustments and show that he can work out of trouble, even if there are runners on base, even if he has given up a run or two. He does a nice job of damage control. And I would say that he was able to do that in the fourth inning on this night and able to work his way out of trouble over the final couple of frames to pick up a victory, again, his fifth of the season. The Braves also got 3 scoreless innings out of their bullpen, exactly what you like to see. Guys came in, threw strikes, got outs, and just like that, it was a 2-game sweep of the Oakland Athletics. And this gives the Braves 7 consecutive wins. And I know this was brought up a time or 3 on the broadcast, both radio and television, that the Braves have not lost to the Oakland Athletics in quite some time, Jake. How long, you might ask? 17 years ago when Barry Zito beat Horacio Ramirez. Mark Kotze was playing for the A's then. Andrew Jones, who was in attendance for the Braves in the opener of this series, hit a 2-run homer, I believe, in that game for the Braves. At the very least, he was involved in that one as well. So time has really passed, but the Braves have not been very kind to the Oakland Athletics over the last over decade and a half.
Yeah, for me, it just goes to show you there's got to be some changes in the scheduling because the Braves are just not playing the ALS teams enough. And, like I know the COVID year, I had planned to go watch the Angels come here and that got canceled. And hopefully we're going to get to see that this year. But yeah, that's just absolutely crazy. And when I heard it the first time and the second time, it was still just as crazy to think how long it's been since the A's have beaten the Braves.
Yeah, well, hopefully it was still just as crazy when I brought it up on this broadcast as well. But yeah, just thinking about and kind of building off of what you were talking about there. I mean, we have not seen Mike Trout play in Atlanta since 2014. We've never gotten to see Shohei Ohtani, pitch at Truist Park in his young career either, because we just don't see those teams as much. But that will change in 2022 as Major League Baseball is going to take a hard look at making the schedule spread out just a little bit more so that you get the. I feel like it's for fans, it's something that you should be looking forward to, is the opportunity to see all 30 teams, not just your home team that you see all the time, but the other 29 clubs, rather than playing 19 or 20 games against your interdivisional opponents. It's important, but it shouldn't be the most important part of the schedule. So I'm going to put my soapbox away, and we're going to get you ready for what's going to be happening on Thursday's action as the Braves welcome the Pittsburgh Pirates into town to start up a 4-game series. Before we do, though, I'm going to tell you about betonline.net, your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. You can find the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's NBA Finals, NHL Conference Finals, MLB action, and, of course, all the latest fighting news from MMA and UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. You can head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. The game will be starting on Thursday night at 7:20 at Truist Park as the Braves and Pittsburgh Pirates meet for the first time this season. It's the first of another 4-game series, Jake. Max Fried, 5-2 on the season, 2.74 the ERA after his recent gem thrown out in Colorado. JT Brubaker on the mound, winless against 5 losses, a 4.70 ERA. And I think I'm going to take a page out of the Jake Mastroianni book. The Braves need to take care of business here and beat up on another team that they should beat up on.
Yeah, you stole my line. I don't have anything else to say now, but yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the Pirates, they've actually been playing pretty decent baseball. I know they went out to LA and swept the Dodgers recently, so can't take them for granted here, but this is a team you should beat, need to beat at home. 4-game series has to at least be a series win in this one, and hopefully they get it started on Thursday.
Yeah, 7:20 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday night at Truist Park as the Braves will send Max Fried to the mound in game 1 of 4 against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who Jake mentioned. You don't want to look past this team, and you don't want to look past any team, I don't think, with the Braves being able to attest to that over the first couple of months of the season with how hard it was to finally put a winning streak together. I don't think they're going to get caught unawares as the Pirates roll in. They did sweep a series in Dodger Stadium. They have beaten the Dodgers 5 out of 6 times this year. So this is a club that can beat a good baseball club if that good baseball club makes mistakes and allows this club to hang around. So we'll see what the Braves are able to do and if they can just continue their winning ways and how things have looked over the last 7 games as the Braves have climbed to 30-27 on the year and will be looking to pick up some more games on the New York Mets, who got hit with the injury bug on Tuesday night, and we'll see if they're able to get some of their stars back in there. I mean, this thing is a long way from over. The Braves just have to handle their business, and that's what they've been doing lately, and that has been winning baseball games. They did it again on Wednesday night at Truist Park, again 13-2 over the Oakland Athletics. That brings us to the end of the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcast. We look forward to catching you again on Thursday night as the Braves and Pirates will battle for the first time this season, and hopefully we'll be coming to you after another Braves win. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Grant McAuley. We look forward to talking to you soon here on the Braves Postcast, and until then, so long, everyone.